Hi, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Lizzie. We're going to actually read the next part of At the End of the Passage by Rudyard Kipling. Bosh, you do the same yourself. I feel a new man, thanks to that cigarette case. You're going over to camp now, aren't you? Yes, but I'll try to look you up every other day if I can. I'm not bad enough for that. I don't want you to bother. Give the coolies gin and ketchup. Then you feel all right? Fit to fight for my life, but not to stand out in the sun talking to you. Go along, old man, and bless you. Hummel turned on his heels to face the echoing desolation of his bungalow, and the first thing he saw standing in the veranda was the figure of himself. He had met a similar apparition once before, when he was suffering from overwork and the strain of the hot weather. This is bad already, he said, rubbing his eyes. If the thing slides away from me all in one piece, like a ghost, I shall know it is only my eyes and stomach that are out of order. If it walks, my head is going. He approached the figure, which naturally kept at an unvarying distance from him, as is the use of all spectres that are born of overwork. It slid through the house and dissolved into swimming specks within the eyeball as soon as it reached the burning light of the garden. Hummel went about his business till even when he came in to dinner, he found himself sitting at the table. The vision rose and walked out hastily. Except that it cast no shadow, it was in all respect real. No living man knows what the week held for Hummel. An increase of the epidemic kept Spurstow in camp among the coolies, and all the could do was to telegraph to Mottram, bidding him go to the bungalow and sleep there. But Mottram was 40 miles from the nearest bungalow, from the nearest telegraph, and knew nothing of anything save the need of the survey, till he met, early on Sunday morning, Lowndes and Spurstow heading towards Hummel's for the weekly gathering. Hope the poor chap's in a better temper, said the former, swinging himself off his horse at the door. I suppose he isn't up yet. I'll just have a look at him, said the doctor. If he's asleep, there's no need to wake him. And an instant later, by the tone of Spurstow's voice calling upon them to enter, the man knew what had happened. There was no need to wake him. The punkah was still being pulled over the bed, but Hummel had departed his life at least 3 hours. The body lay on its back, hands clenched by the side, as Spurstow had seen it lying 7 nights previous. In the staring eyes was written horror beyond the expression of any pen. Mottram, who had entered behind Lowndes, bent over the dead and touched the forehead lightly with his lips. Oh, you lucky, lucky devil, he whispered. But Lowndes had seen the eyes and withdrew shuddering to the other side of the room. Poor chap, poor old chap. And the last time I met him I was angry. Spurstow, we should have watched him. Has he? Deftly Spurstow continued his investigation, ending by a search around the room. No, he hasn't, he snapped. There's no trace of anything. Call the servants. They came, 8 or 10 of them, whispering and peering over each other's shoulders. When did your sahib go to bed? Said Spurstow. At 11 or 10, we think, and Hummel's personal servant, he was well then. And how should you know? He was not ill as far as our comprehension extended, but he had slept very little for 3 nights. This I know because I saw him walking much, and specially in the heart of the night. As Spurstow was arranging the sheet, a big straight-necked hunting spur tumbled on the ground. The doctor groaned. The personal servant peeped at the body. What do you think, Chuma? Said Spurstow, catching the look on the dark face. Heaven born, in my poor opinion. This that was my master has descended into the dark places and there has been caught because he was not able to escape with sufficient speed. We have the spur for evidence that he fought with fear. Thus have I seen men of my race do with thorns, when a spell was laid upon them to overtake them in their sleeping hours, and they dared not sleep. Chuma, you're a mudhead. Go out and prepare seals to be set on the Sahib's property. God has made the heaven born, God has made me. Who are we to inquire into the dispensations of God? I will bid the other servants hold aloof while you are reckoning the tale of the Sahib's property. They are all thieves and would steal. As far as I can make out, he died from, anything. Stoppage of the heart's action, heat apoplexy, or some other visitation, said Spurstow to his companions. We must make an inventory of his effects, and so on. So he was seeing some weird apparition of a person that he assumed was himself. And now he ended up actually dying, being murdered, or whether it be suicide, I am actually not sure, but they are trying to actually find that out. God has made... Okay. Where did I leave off? I am so sorry. He was scared to death, insisted Loundis. Look at those eyes. For pity's sake, don't let him be buried with them open. Whatever it was, he's clearly of all the trouble now, said Mottram softly. Spurstow was peering into the open eyes. Come here, said he. Can you see anything there? I can't face it, whimpered Loundis. Cover up the face. Is there any fear on earth that can turn a man into the likeness? It's ghastly. Oh, Spurstow, cover it up. No fear on earth, said Spurstow. Mottram leaned over his shoulder and looked intently. I see nothing except some gray blurs in the pupil. There can be nothing there, you know. Even so, well, let's think. It'll take half a day to knock up any sort of coffin, and he must have died at midnight. Loundis, old man, go out and tell the coolies to break ground next to Jevons's grave. Mottram, go round the house with Chuma and see that the seals are put on things. Send a couple of men to me here, and I'll arrange. The strong-armed servants, when they returned to their own kind, told a strange story of the Doctor Sahib vainly trying to call their master back to life by magic arts, to wit, the holding of a little green box that clicked to each of the dead man's eyes, and of a bewildered muttering on the part of the Doctor Sahib, who took the little green box away with him. So I guess they're accusing him of trying to resurrect the dead like some Frankenstein. The resonant hammering of a coffin lid is no pleasant thing to hear. But those who were experienced maintain that much more terrible is the soft swish of the bed linen, the reeving and unreeving of the bed tapes, when he who has fallen by the roadside is apparelled for burial. Sinking gradually as the tapes are tied over, till the swaddled shape touches the floor, and there is no protest against the indignity of the hasty disposal. And if you heard that bark, ignore it. It is my service dog being weird. She probably seen something outside, which normally she does because our deck actually faces the woods. So she sees another dog walking or a raccoon. She lets me know because she is actually a hound dog. So she's a hound dog ground pointer mix. So she will bark when she hears or sees something. It's either that or she's barking at my psychotic cat, Zombie. I'm sorry, but there's a spider. I have to kill it. Sorry, anybody that knows me, I don't freaking do ants or spiders, fleas, ticks, or any form of a bug. At the last moments, Loundis was seized with scruples of conscience. Ought you to read the service from beginning to end, said he to Spurstow. I intend to. You're my senior as a civilian. You can take it if you like. I didn't mean that for a moment. I only thought if we could get a chaplain from somewhere, I'm willing to ride anywhere and give poor Hummel a better chance. That's all. Bosh, said Sperstow, as he framed his lips to the tremendous words that stand at the head of the burial service. After breakfast they smoked a pipe in silence to the memory of the dead. Then Sperstow said absently, "'Tisn't medical science." "What?" "Things in a dead man's eye." For goodness sake, leave the horror alone," said Lowndes. "I've seen a native die of pure fright when a tiger chived him. I know what killed Hummel." "The deuce you do! I'm going to try to see," and the doctor retreated into the bathroom with a Kodak camera. After a few minutes there was the sound of something being hammered to pieces, and he emerged very white indeed. "Have you got a picture?" said Mottram. "What does the thing look like?" "It was impossible, of course. You needn't look, Mottram. I've torn up the films." "There was nothing there. It was impossible, that," said Lowndes, very distinctly watching the shaking hand striving to relight the pipe. "Is a damned lie." Mottram laughed uneasily. Sperstow's right," he said. "We're all in such a state now that we believe anything. For pity's sake, let's try to be rational." There was no further speech for a long time. The hot wind whistled without and the dry trees sobbed. Presently the daily train, a winking brass, burnished steel, the spouting steam pulled up panting in the intense glare. "We'd better go on that," said Sperstow. "Go back to work. I've written my certificate. We can't do anything any more good here, and work'll keep our wits together. Come on." No one moved. It is not pleasant to face railway journeys at midday. In June Sperstow gathered up his hat and whip and turned in the doorway, said, "There may be heaven, there must be hell. Meantime, there is our life here. Well." Neither Mottram nor Lowndes had any answer to the question. So I guess his friend died of a severe fright to some form of ghostly apparition he's been seeing for days, and lack of sleep. But I'm not entirely sure. That one didn't really make much sense to me. But we're going to come back with The Botathen Ghost. It was written in 1867 by R.S. Hawker. So hopefully that one makes more sense to me than this, because I'm sorry, but this one didn't make sense to me. But I'm dyslexic, so not much makes sense to me usually. But we will be back, and that is it for now. Hopefully you all like these stories. I know somebody did like hearing me read scary stories. They said that it made their anxiety and stuff a lot better, and it made them feel not so alone and everything, and helped with their stress and stuff. So hopefully they still help you, and I wish you the best of luck with everything.